What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and I am back at home. I am in my home studio, and yeah, it was nice to get out for a little bit, but it was kind of crazy to be running around. It was a quick weekend to Columbus to go compete in the Arnold Pump and Run there at the Arnold Classic over the weekend. It was fun. Thank you to all of you for your encouraging words, all of your shout outs telling me, do a good job and good luck and that. So I do appreciate it. I ended up doing fairly decent. Ended up with 2 more reps than I've ever done before and weighing a little bit more than what I have in the past. On the road, my time wasn't my worst, but it definitely wasn't my best. I think that there was some left to be desired there. I probably could have trained a little harder when it came to on the road. But all in all, I felt pretty good about my performance there at the Arnold. And too, with the video, I apologize. I took my mics with me, but my XLR cable, I thought I had like a full-on XLR cable to run the Phantom Power and that with it, but I ended up actually having the wrong cable that I threw in the bag when I was throwing everything around on Saturday morning, trying to get everything ready so we could head down to Columbus. So I apologize. I had to use the mic that was really the only mic that I had that would work at the time to use. So I apologize. That won't happen again. And, yeah, I don't like to do those things, but it was such a fun game. It was so cool. I was excited and I had like a half an hour to do something. So I was like, let's go. So we went ahead and did it. All right. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is we're going to break down the BattleHawks and the Defenders literal fight on the field. And I'll get the other 2 games. Probably you'll see those Monday evening from me. It's just, man, these 3 games in a row, especially on a weekend when I'm getting back in the evening from a long trip, are hard to really break them down and get them out right away. I'm looking forward to next weekend when we get 2 games in 2 games. Nice, it's easier to digest all of it at once. So I'm going to do 1 game right now, and then we'll get the other ones here soon. So apologize for the long explanation. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. And right off the bat, this one was fun. It looked exciting. It looked great. The fans look great. I think I'm hearing somewhere around 17,000 fans. I don't know exactly off the top of my head. I'm sure the official numbers have come out or whatever. You guys seen them online on Twitter or whatever. But the place was packed and it was great. The fans were roaring, they were loving, they were cheering, they were chanting on their team. It was the perfect atmosphere. And Audi Field is just, I don't know what it is. There's just something special about that place. I don't know. It's not very big, but it's a really neat venue. It seems like that it televises really, really well. It just seems like a really, really nice place for the XFL. If they could find a few more stadiums like that, I think that those would be the places that they would need to expand this league into. Forget about the big markets like Vegas and things like that, and really hone in on some of these gems that they could find and really build a fan base around, because I think this DC one is just absolutely fantastic, to where really tailor it towards, maybe a market where you can really grow it like that. And so I loved the presentation. I loved everything. I loved how they're starting to show us where those out of bounds markers are, instead of just kind of force feeding us, everything. And on top of that too, to talk about the stats, I know people have made comments about the stats. If you look at the stats daily, if you go in there, they're adding little things. You're able to do more on the website. The app is still not great. I still would I highly suggest just go straight to the website. Don't go to the app for the stats. And when you're looking at them, like, now you can actually sort things. You can actually do stuff with the stats as opposed to just looking at them. So it's developing. XFL, you guys are doing a great job of giving us, access and stuff. And it's been fantastic. One of the things with the access that is driving me nuts, I don't need all of the coordinators. I don't need all of the players mic'd up all of the time. Give that to me at about 15% of what you are giving to me already. When things get heated, guys get loud, go ahead, turn it on and let me see that. But just with all of the profanity and everything that's going on with the audio cutting in and out, it's just annoying. And the other thing too is when the announcers who know what they're doing in the bigger broadcast, when they're talking, what's happening is that they get cut off by a play call or something like that. I could care less about them telling their play call. I would rather them finish their thought about something that's happened in the game, or, a story about a player that's going to give us more insight into, the player that's on the field. I would rather have that than just some gobbledygook that's said into a mic, and then they try to translate for us to tell us what this next play is. I could care less about that. I want the access, but only when I need the access. That's pretty much, how I say it, which is usually about 15 to 20, 25% of the time. So that's my thought on the presentations. DC is just an amazing place for them to do that, to play and to do. They did a fantastic job. And boy, did these two teams show out. It really was the slugfest that we thought it would be. It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. When you thought the one team was going to take it, then the other team was able to force a fumble, cough the ball up. And that's really one thing with this weekend. I don't know what it is, but if it's a 4th and 1, for whatever reason, do not go under center. I'm telling you right now, do not go under center. It's like, I don't know, like a 25% chance of you actually converting that thing. I'm like sick and tired of watching these teams fumble the ball because they've gone under center and they haven't gone under center the whole rest of the game. The defense knows exactly what you're doing. They're pinning their ears back and they're coming right at you. It's just, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here and I apologize, but I feel like that's really the struggle here. And two, part of the struggle for these guys in this game is you're starting to see why some of these guys haven't translated into the next level. You're seeing multiple mistakes over guys dropping balls, multiple drops, guys fumbling the ball multiple times. And we've got guys on both sides of the ball fumbling it multiple times. You've got guys like, I'll come out and say it, Ben DiNucci. For whatever reason, we constantly always, every game, have one or two passes that get thrown directly to defenders. And A.J. McCarron's, pick 6 in this game had nothing to do with him. The receivers tripped, fell, and listen, it happens. His other pick, it's the end of the game. You got to try what you got to try. So I don't really hold that too much against him. I still think that he played a pretty decent game. That DC Defenders defense is pretty stingy. He was sacked 4 times again. Hill, I don't know. Hill got ejected from the game, so I don't know if that means that he's missing next game. I don't know how they do that. That fight at the end of the game, it's ridiculous, guys. Listen. Quit fighting with each other. I know that yes, you're in the trenches there. It's in the heat of the moment. You've got that going on, but quit fighting. You're hurting your chances of getting somewhere. They're going to take a chance on somebody who's not a hothead over you who is a hothead. So being the hothead and not being control of your emotions is actually going to hurt you in this situation and where you are trying to make it to the next level into the NFL by, letting your emotions get the best of you and doing, something stupid in that situation. So Hill, we'll see if he's back. He's dynamic. When he's not in there, their running game is totally different and he is lightning out of a bottle when he gets, open, as you saw by, some of the catches that he had. This is a team that really, they need him, and for him to make those stupid decisions that he did at the end of the game is just very costly. Butler is really becoming a really nice, shining piece for them. Aitman has kind of fallen into the, I don't know. He's always been, he was a big deal there at Oklahoma State, and he hasn't really materialized a whole lot for them. We'll see if he gets back in this game, but all in all, they fought really hard. The magic ran out. Everything that was DC there, the crowd, DC wanted it more than they did. It just, time and time again, they had opportunities to really take this game, but they would fumble the ball. They would get the ball in a really nice opportunity, and something would happen, a pick six, fumbles. But both teams actually ended up doing that. I mean, when you really sit down and look at it, what do we got turnovers wise? You got 3 to 4, so there's 7 turnovers total in this game, and it was kind of brutal back and forth with it, but it was entertaining, and I loved every minute of it, and it came down to the last seconds, and that's exactly what the XFL wants. Now, looking at the winners, Jordan Ta'amu, he is starting to impress me. He's decided that, I guess if D'Eriq King style is what you want with your quarterback, I can show you that. I can do that. He's been deciding that he's actually going to run, and he's been running very well, and he threw the ball really well against a very good defense. Today there's still some issues, but part of it is it's not like I don't put it all on him. I put it on the wide receivers. You still have guys that are dropping the ball, and you still have just some of that miscommunication that's there. So I really like the play with Jordan Ta'amu. I wish they would have held off on bringing D'Eriq King in. They brought him in the second quarter, and I didn't think they needed to. I think that really disrupted kind of that flow that they had going on, to where I would have just left Jordan Ta'amu in the game. I liked the way that he was playing. I liked what he was doing there. Armstead, 2 fumbles lost in this game. You got to hold on to the ball. And that's, again, one of those things I go back to. You're starting to see why these guys aren't in the next level. It's because, has nothing to do with their athletic ability. It has to do with, ball security, drops, those type of things from, or there are other things when you start looking at the other positions and things, but Blair came on in this game, had a couple really nice, had that one really nice touchdown catch. Let's see, Jackson too. I think they're starting to find some, they're starting to kind of figure some things out, and a lot of it has to do with Jordan Ta'amu's decided that he's going to run the ball. And it wasn't too crazy with the stuff. I mean, he only averaged 2 yards a carry, but him running the ball makes a bigger difference there. D'Eriq King, he had a couple runs and he had a couple passes, and they needed to have him pass the ball. The reality of it is teams were starting to key in just on him running. When he's in there, he's just going to run. So they were keying in on that, to where that touchdown pass did a lot for him. But I would just rather keep Ta'amu in there, but you're looking at a guy who isn't a fan of a 2 QB system. I would like to see them do it more like if they're gonna do 2 quarterbacks, do it more like the way that Houston does it with Silvers and McDonald, as opposed to what they're doing here. I think it's too much disruption, the way that they're doing with it. Defense, again, was stellar with this team. I mean, they get after the quarterback. They know how to kind of ball hawk, and two, they take advantage of their opportunities that they have. I think that's now got them. That's 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns on the season for them. So that's heck of a good job for them, and to that interception at the end of the game was a heck of a catch. Hopefully he ends up okay. But yeah, I mean, it was a really, really good game. They let them have the beer snake. The fans were rocking. It was great. The one thing I have to say is the fight at the end. I didn't really mean that, like, I knew that they were going to be battling and this was going to be a tough matchup, but I didn't actually realize when I put my video out that there was going to be an actual literal fight at the end of the game. And it's kind of funny too. I guess they both had to ride on the same flight back to Arlington together, so that would be interesting how that all transpires. And it'll be interesting to see how the coaches handle all of that, and if these players that were ejected, the 3 of them, you know, what ramifications are going to come from that. It didn't look good. Again, it looks very amateurish, and when you're trying to put your best foot forward, and when you're trying to show people that, you know, that this is true professional ball, that this is really good football, having those type of things doesn't help your cause at all. Everything else, production, the game, everything else with it was fantastic. It was fun. It was exciting. I enjoyed it. I had a fun time watching this game, you know, listening in on everything. There was just a few things, like I said before, that just kind of need to be kind of tweaked, but all in all, excellent game. And that, so those are my thoughts. As always, let me know what you think down in the comment section. We'll continue the conversation on down there. All right, listen, guys, I know that you're busy and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. Have a good night. Bye.